I raise for now the veil of shadows.
As flesh unto verb, as verb unto heart, as heart unto flesh. Death's knot is unsevered, and I shall cut it.
Down, boy. Yes. Come to me, Ruth. Come to me, my love. Come back to me.
Caleb Watson invoked a ghost without a body for it to inhabit, so it took his. Caleb is no longer Caleb.
He got the wrong ghost too.
He used pieces of his wife and also of his brother.
Ruth, Alexander, Caleb, could be any combination of them in there.
Let's go find out which. Go then.
They brought more friends.
Run, Red! They never learn, do they?
away with you!
That ritual, I suspect it's beyond me.
It's not, but we agreed you won't need it. Besides, Caleb's work was poor. Your work is good.
A ritual like that. Good is not a word that comes to mind. It's locked. There must be a key.
Hush now. All is well. Nothing bad will ever come to us again. Shite off.
We've been to God's Acre. Quite a tale it told us. You're not Caleb, are you? Or at least not entirely.
Can't fog you. Alexander Watson. Long tale short, Caleb tried to bring his dead wife back. And I live here now.
So many questions. Where to even start?
Do both of you share Caleb's body?
Share? No. This house of flesh is mine. But because I am a generous man, I allow my brother to live in the cellar. We were twins. I was the rotten half, they said. But who's the rotten half now?
He was trying to bring his wife back. How did you end up in the mix?
Caleb made a fine cobbler, a poor brother, a worse husband, and a truly terrible witch. The ritual went to shite, because... of course it did. There's something else you should know, if you don't know it already. I'm not alone. I completed the ritual. My darling Ruth is in here too.
Caleb was no saint, but this is hellish grim. Does he deserve it?
Aye, he does. And it's not like I killed him. He's alive in here somewhere. Watching me ruin his name. He can hear me now. Destroying his reputation. As I had to hear him destroy mine when he painted me a fornicator.
How nice.
He took our love, Ruth and mine, and killed it. Now our love's reborn, and he can do naught but sit and watch. Caleb was a cad. Shite on him. Let him suffer.
You died trying to save Ruth from a burning house. True.
True.
And where was Caleb while all this was happening?
He was there. He stood rooted in place, frozen in fear. And then it was too late. He could do nothing but watch us burn. Caleb's name was ruined then. We're just putting the boot in.
You used the ritual to bring Ruth's spirit into Caleb's body. Why?
Love moves a soul to strange endeavors. We deserve a better life. I set myself to claiming it.
I understand your anger, more so your desire. But what of Ruth's? Did you consider what she wanted?
Caleb stole a life from me, but he also stole Ruth's voice. She shrank beneath him. Of course she wanted a second chance at life.
I'd like to hear this from Ruth. May I please speak with her?
No! We've carved ourselves out a little happiness at last. I'll not have you break it. Please, leave us alone. Give us this.
We need to speak to her, one way or another. If he won't tell us anything, perhaps the house Ruth died in will.
I'll be leaving you alone for now.
Alone? Not really. Hush now. All is well. Nothing bad will ever come to us again.
Ruth and Alexander are having an affair in her husband's body.
I'll not judge, no matter how much I want to.
Something feels wrong. Something about Ruth. If we find the ghost tie, we can talk to her.
Good day to you, Mr. McWraith.
I'd wish you the same if I knew your name, sir.
Ishmael Law. I have seen you in the meeting house. I have recognized the markings on your hands. I would have liked to have been a Banisher, to tackle with the mysteries of our world. That must be something.
You wanted to be a Banisher? That's unusual.
As a child, I met a Banisher. I was impressed by the marks on his hands, the assurance in his demeanor. He made me feel safe. You do God's work, though you know it or not. Like Charles Davenport, I respected the minister a great deal. He's a terrible loss.
You wanted to become a Banisher? Why didn't you?
I got married instead. Came to New England. Ruined everything.
Tell me about folk round here.
A vast subject that requires, perhaps, a more specific question.
Tell me about Governor Haskell.
A man like me does not get to know a man like him. He is a man of faith. We all trust him. That's all I can say.
Tell me about Lamentation Haskell.
Nice boy. Very secretive. I do not understand the things he says. Fortunately, he does not say them to me.
How about you? How are you feeling?
I've not been asked this in a long time. I am feeling a bizarre conflict between faith in the Lord and sheer unholy terror.
Thank you for your help.
You are welcome, sir.
The house that burned down. The roof fell in with them inside.
There's a lot of debris. Beware. Wards. The ghost wards feel far away from here. Just one keeps me from manifesting. Fancy knocking it down? Ghost wards. I cannot manifest. I'm back.
At long last.
I can make short work of this roadblock.
Ty must be nearby. This work shows real sensitivity. Caleb?
Maybe. Not Alexander. I suspect we've just learned a little about Ruth. Of course. Ruth's heart binds them like a bushel of rotting corn.
You! What do you have there? Stop right there, you rank rump! Whatever you found, it ain't yours!
You buried Ruth's heart in the ashes of the house that killed her. I find that odd.
You, a ghost, went digging in the ashes of a dead woman's house. You're ill-positioned to call me odd. Don't think I haven't felt your presence before.
Stow your tongue while I speak with Ruth. Ruth, can you hear me? Can you speak?
Puck off and die! I'm in charge here.
No. Hush ye, Alexander. I'll speak. I'm Ruth. I hear you.
I'm Antea Duarte. We're here to help.
I'm glad. Please, end this nightmare. Help me.
Go to hell in a bag of shite. We're fine, and you have not the right, you hear? You've not the right. Give it back!
Show yourself and join me now.
No more does he silence me. We may speak. Help me, please.
Caleb's letter changed your life. How did it feel at the time?
It tore me in two. I loved Alexander, but I deserved to marry a man who would be true. Caleb seemed decent. I believed he loved me. I thought I married the better brother, but I'd married a liar. A liar and a devil. And yet, not even he deserves this. No one deserves this.
How did Caleb treat you?
With adoration. I was an idol, worshipped, yet unloved. He was the sculptor and I was the statue, smiling down, unmoving from my pedestal with nothing to say. Now I'm sewn into a festering sack with the quivering remnants of my husband and the angry ghost of his dead brother. Please, let me out.
Who taught Caleb the resurrection ritual?
To say it was taught would mean he'd learned it. He read it off a page. As a sorcerer, Caleb makes a fine cobbler. Thing about Caleb, he was a good listener. As he worked, clients would bend his ear. The Haskell boy, for one. As Caleb pinned the governor's shoes, young Lammy would talk magic. Nonsense, really. But Caleb was listening.
Wait, Lammy Haskell gave Caleb the resurrection ritual?
After Lammy mentioned the ritual, Caleb became obsessed with it. He begged. Lammy, in his misplaced generosity, gave it. Caleb was intent on dark work. Lammy furnished written instructions.
Ruth, your husband Caleb's botched resurrection ritual brought you back, but allowed his brother Alexander to take you hostage.
Once we deal with the Watson brothers, you shall be free to ascend.
Do what you must. I'll suffer it if it leaves me free to go.
No! We can stay. Please, Ruth, let us stay.
Look at you. You're counterfeit, a sham of a thing. Your so-called life is no life at all. Caleb lied and stole your love. But when the time was right, you lied and stole his body. We're ending this nonsense now. Alexander, yours is no romantic fable. There is no moral to this tale. You're a hostage taker, nothing more.
No, Caleb can go to hell, for he well deserves it. But Ruth and I are in love.
Greedy men fight over a woman as if she were a thing. I'm done with that old story. Time to tell a better tale.
Ruth is free to go.
I shall have my rest now. Thank you.
There is nothing for you.
Are they gone?
Am I speaking with the cobbler, Caleb Watson? That you, Caleb?
I think... yes, that's me. Or it was me, once. For my bastard brother was my hollow keeper.
You're not entirely innocent, though. If you'll permit the unfortunate expression, there was more than one of you in it.
My brother deserved damnation, and you gave it to him. I am an imperfect man, but if you're considering the same for me, I'll not go without a fight.
I too am an imperfect man. I have mercy and patience in limited supply. Let's not test those limits further, eh?
Alexander loved Ruth like a man loves his hat. Love a woman like a thing, and you do not love her at all.
Ruth deserved better, in life and in death. That was something.
Don't take it to heart. Their choices are not your business.
Our choices are my business. And their consequences too.
Don't waver. We could win a battle, but we can't win the war. Nobody should conquer death, and we don't want to pay the price of trying.
Aye. I hear you.
Good. Now, let's see what Lammy Haskell has to say about raising spirits from the dead.
Governor,
May I help you, Mr. McCraith?
I have to admit, this is an unusual case.
Yes, but have you solved it?
I believe so. But the culprit was not responsible for the plague. At least not directly.
Have you found the witch or have you not?
Someone here has been dabbling in some dark magic. I have the name.
So, what are you waiting for?
I have the name. I don't have the full picture. When I do, I'll act.
Come, you have the name. You have the proof. The matter is simple, is it not?
Not exactly. The name is Lamentation Haskell.
No, it can't be. My son is studious. Curious, too curious at times perhaps, but he does not have a bad bone in his heart.
He showed Caleb Watson a ritual. The cobbler used it and became possessed.
Even if true, it would only mean my son was exposed to corruption. It happened before. Bring me proof, Banisher. Find the real source of evil.
I'll get it. Mark me. I must find your son, Governor. Sooner rather than later.
His interests take him hither and thither. If he isn't here, he must be working on the outskirts. He's been sprucing up one of the abandoned houses there. I ordered them emptied when the sickness hit. Here, take the gate key. Go there. See for yourself. You're wrong about him. You're wrong about my son. Needless to say that I count, of course, on your discretion.
He was quick to condemn till it was his own son on the block. Who's he really protecting?
We'll bring him the proof he wants. If the boy is guilty, his father may not be able to protect him.
You're done.
Those balls. What happened here?
Something's emanating from under there.
No wonder this place is off limits.
Get back up!
Don't let it crush you! You shouldn't stay in there.
One of these must be Lammy's hideaway. Lammy, you here?
Can you find a way around the locked door?
You were studying botany. Why botany?
This ivy's well rooted in the invisible.
Right? And therefore impossible to comb out.
Ghost wards cannot manifest.
There's a lock. I'm gonna need a key. Harrowloo. Mean anything to you?
Not a thing.
He mentioned an old mill. Seemed fascinated by the place. The incisions are clean. The precision of an expert.
There's magic here, though faint.
Nothing incriminating. Yet.
Remember what we found at Caleb Watson's? Maybe we're not looking in the right place. If I had something to hide, I might hide it in an abandoned mill. I have another in sight. Run, Red! This isn't over yet.
Try this on.
Spectre heading for that corpse.
Why a mill?
Away from the village. Perfect for his research. Perfect to hide secrets.
He's not out here for pleasure, that's for sure. Was that?
Yes, something's here. Malice has been bound to this.
You are gone, command you.
Peaceful. Like home on a good day. No, it's hilly, mate. He felt like playing with the lambs. Blair preferred to feed them. And I was too busy dreaming.
And you?
Oh, I cooked them for dinner. The lambs, I mean. Oh, the girls were furious.
Yes, but they weren't hungry. Shelter, if you need a fire to warm you up.
Something's concealed.
Something has me. Wards. I have another in sight. Run, Red!
Have a bit of this.
So much for peaceful.
Ghost wards. I cannot manifest. I can manifest now.
The lift should work now. All this is more serious than we thought. I'm apprehensive. Not just because we're going underground.
We'll be careful. We don't know what Lammy was up to. And the signs are not encouraging.
You know, I could get to like it underground. The darkness, the gloom, the cool air.
Really?
No, not really. Not at all. Did you bring your gardening tools? No? Moving on then.
Your strikes are useless if the pillars are intact.
Careful. It's been stung.
Get to the pillars first. Careful! Time to release these poor souls.
Don't leave.
Every totem killed makes it stronger.
You're done.
Careful! Call on me. Careful! Sharpen up. I'm still here. Incoming. Look through my eyes. Quicken yourself.
You got this, man.
Incoming. Your strikes are useless if the pillars are intact. Eyes peeled. It's on you. Get to the pillars first. There's a tough one. Look out! Time to release these poor souls.
When all this is over, I might retire.
You'd miss it. You know you would. Over here, dead animals, again. Different symbols and magic. Seems they were used as bait. Is this how we got through the Sorrow's vigilance? I know. I can't seem to get a good grasp on the spectral fabric. I can help.
So, here we are.
I suppose now we step into the void.
Suppose we do. Dark rituals, void breach, general weirdness. Lemmy can't be far.
Wards, you're on your own.
Wards work well enough. You didn't need to kill so many bots.
Demonologists use necromancy. Maybe he thought he'd bring them back when he was done.
It's awfully calm. Why is it awfully calm?
I'm at your side again. I'm back.
At long last.
Spectres. They haven't noticed us. Stay low.
Some of this!
Throwing a tantrum, are we?
Your funeral!
An Ariadne's thread leading through the void. Very useful indeed.
Very useful right until it falls apart. Then you're stuffed like force meat in a turkey.
Creepy hideout. The governor's spawn likes a bit of drama.
What is this thing?
Banisher rule number 4.
If it oozes, don't touch it. Another botched experiment?
It may be native to the void.
This is some dark, sideways magic.
It's forbidden. I've read it.
Sometimes I worry about you. This one's different. Looks like it died diseased.
So, you can see me. Aren't you full of surprises, young Master Haskell?
You may talk. A Banisher ghost. Amazing. How on God's earth did you find me? Never mind that. Thank the Lord you did. Thought I was going to grow old in here.
As hiding places go, the void is quite the choice.
Yes, an amazing place. Or plane? World? The Araloo is not easily described, but it makes a fascinating study. Tell me, how did you get past the Guardian beneath the mill? Did you use a decoy?
We fought it. Don't change the subject.
You fought it? Of course you did. A good thing too. I was starting to think it was wise to me tricks. Oh, but I have so many questions.
This isn't a social call, kid. And we're the ones with the questions.
Oh. Of course.
We must talk of Caleb Watson. Why in the hell would you give him a resurrection ritual?
Ruth's death hit poor Caleb hard. He was alone, and so I would often stop by his workshop. We talked. He took a keen interest in my studies and was a good listener. When he learned that she could possibly return, he had one question. How?
You saw his grief as an opportunity to test the effects of the lesser palingenesis.
Oh, you know the ritual too? Amazing, isn't it?
I've studied it. The actual ritual, not the mangled version you gave Caleb.
Yes, and I'm sorry. I found it in a copy of De Occulti Philosophia by Cornelius Agrippa von Nettesheim. A remarkable book.
I've met my fair share of illustrious occultists, and none owned an authentic Agrippa. Much is lost in translation or altered in the printing. I doubt your copy is an exception.
Of course! The power is in the words, and mine were wrong, so the power went awry. How very fascinating!
Are you aware of what would happen if people learnt of your studies?
Surely the acquisition of knowledge cannot be a sin.
Do you remember Deborah?
Miss Comenius. Yes, of course, I remember.
Your father tasked us with an investigation. One way or the other, we must return with the mystery solved.
Ah. I think I understand what you're saying. I might be in a tiny little bit of, danger.
You see ghosts. You stroll the void as if it were your garden. You possess and share forbidden rituals. Who are you really?
I'm Lammy Haskell, and I am a man of many sciences. I am in fact a true pursuer.
That raises more questions than it answers.
What are the pillars of the universe? Which principles underpin existence? As occultists, do we change the world or scratch upon its surface? Each discipline I embrace peels back a new layer of reality. I'm yet at the beginning, and see where I already stand. Amazing, no?
Are you a demonologist like your father?
More or less. Less, more so. My father sees occultism through the eyeglass of his faith, but I know better. So, more so?
If you don't share your father's faith, what do you believe?
I believe in the afterlife. The proof is about us. And if the void embodies eternal despair, there must too be a place of hope. But where, I ask myself, where?
Your father is convinced a witch poisoned his well. Caleb Watson was cursed by a ritual you gave him. I'd focus if I were you.
We must counter the devil with knowledge of his tricks. That, my father always said, is the purest of God's work.
Aye, I can imagine your father saying that.
When I was 10, he gave me my initiation. Demonology, sir, as he would say. He saw me as his heir. Then, of a sudden, the books were forbidden. So I stole them, the very same books he'd forced upon me as a boy. I understand them where he does not. I did no wrong, apart from a little theft.
You've studied demonology. Did you do it alone?
When my father forbade me to continue, I confess I disobeyed him in secret. Those big books were very boring until they were forbidden. Suddenly I could not get enough of their secret knowledge. Funny, eh? More recently, a good friend of my father showed me that I had only been scratching at the surface.
Who was your father's friend?
An itinerant Frenchman who often visited New Eden in recent years. He called himself a true pursuer. As a thinker, he was prolific and profound. My father was so proud to be included in his discourse. For him, knowledge is the ladder to greatness, and greatness is the prize. To me, knowledge is itself the prize.
From the looks of this place, you're knee-deep in research. What are you doing here exactly?
Searching for the origin of the Harrow's Plague, of course. And I have a theory on the subject.
Of course you do. Go on then.
Now, at first, I believed the water poisoned, but my father sealed the well, and yet folk remained sick. They looked for witchcraft, a foolish, uneducated suspicion, yes, but with some truth concealed behind it. You see, the Araloo taints New Eden. Its influence leaches into the Harrows. The evidence is everywhere.
By the Araloo, do you mean the void?
Neither name does it justice. This place is beyond words. The Araloo, Mr. McCraith, is made of the very fabric of our primordial myths. Isn't it amazing?
How can you be sure the void has tainted the region?
In New Eden, the threshold between our plane and this is thin. Even I, a novice, may reach the frontier and then go beyond. I also believe it happened before. Some years ago, New Eden was hit by another epidemic.
Was it the same illness?
I believe that first epidemic was caused by the porosity of the frontier between New Eden and the Araloo. Although, where theirs was an affliction of burning flesh, ours is a corruption of mind and spirit. And I believe I have found its source. There is a substance, a strange ooze. You may have noticed it. This, I believe, is the true source of the Harrow's poison. It carries a particular stink, on the scent of which I experience first confusion, then a loss of control over my limbs.
What do you expect to find at the source of the ooze?
To find a cure. The ooze seeps into our world, sickening us. I may be able to stop it. Unfortunately, I cannot reach the source. The Araloo is a formidable place. Tricky. A maze constantly evolving, changing, reshaping itself. The isthmus, for example. I found an oozing crack in the ground. The terrain then remade itself, and I can get to it no longer.
Perhaps we might be able to find a way through and take a look at that source.
Would you? That would be splendid. Would you mind taking notes?
Let's go take a closer look at that ooze then.
And with that sorrow gone, I can leave. Do be careful. My home is your home. If you need anything, help yourself.
The Araloo is not your home, Lammy. But thank you.
Pardon my morbid enthusiasm, Mistress Duarte, but could I ask you a few... questions?
What do you wish to know?
Do you still need to eat? Do you feel hunger? Sorry, it's just... you're the first ghost I've met, in person, as it were.
I don't eat. Not in the way you do. I feel hunger. Again, not in the way you do. My senses are different. It's difficult to describe how. I can see, sometimes touch. I cannot smell. Red tells me this is a blessing. It feels as if I were clinging to a rope, high above the abyss. Even if I wished to let go, I could not bring myself to do it.
I see. What about your Banisher skills? Can you use them? Do the accoutrements of your craft still work? As a ghost, do they not harm you?
The marks on my hands and the rings on my fingers aren't actually there. They have no more effect on me than a memory.
Antea, we should get going. So, the pious governor's unassuming son is our evil Harrow's witch.
I was as earnest as he. Ah, the rank enthusiasm of youth. It's sickening, really. I don't know that I buy Lammy's hair of the dog theory, but I feel strange, and I suspect the ooze.
Only one way to find out. Oh, God. I need a wee bit of help here. Well, that was not pleasant. Well, not pleasant at all.
Wards, think you can fend for yourself? I can't help you. Sorry, not this time. A ward restrains me. I'm back.
At long last.
Think you could take on a ghost?
I can help.
Bastard! It oozes through the breach, suppurates like a festering wound.
How delightful.
Let's see what lies on the other side. Where are we now?
Underground, looks like.
Wonderful.
The ooze affects the incarnate, too. Who goes there?
Is that a ghost?
I don't know. But I don't think we're alone. What might you be, then?
What was...
Innocence.
Oh, shite.
Did you just say shite? You?
Missing.
It's bigger than I thought it'd be.
Is that a house from the Harrows?
We may be below the well.
No wonder they all got sick.
The cries of the innocent have reached the ears of the Lord Almighty.
This house belonged to a certain Antipas and Clemency Gibbs. Did you feel that?
It's close.
The Gibbs' land was barren. They were struggling for money.
Look up. The ooze, oozed through the very stone.
And of all of them, just this one house fell down.
Maybe it was personal.
Was the Gibbs' house targeted by the ooze?
Obviously. Look around you.
Mr. and Mrs. Gibbs, have you read my paper?
I read it, aye. And then I washed my hands and prayed for grace. You claim to prove that there is no curse. Well,
A witch would say that, wouldn't she?
Wherever people gather to live, disease takes hold, and I believe... What are you doing?
your evil lies shall be destroyed. We know who you are, and you shall be judged. Witch!
They were determined to do for her. She built a case for her rationality, and they tore it apart. Mrs. Gibbs, I presume. Off we go then.
Another shadow.
What do they want?
You forswore your
Red, something is keeping me from manifesting.
In here? Ah, shite.